I think I'm just gonna. Amazingly, you've gone through 20 minutes like a snap of the finger. But um, one of the things I'm just gonna kind of leave this out with is two players that I think maybe you could talk about. But Samir Handanovic, obviously a great goalkeeper for Slovenia, and Novakovic as well, the striker. Those are two guys I think we have to watch out for Slovenia. But how do
Yeah.
you think, as well, on top of just the fact that there are some skilled players on that team, including Robert Korn, how do you think the kind of junk talking that's going on from Komach, maybe it's being made more out than it really is, but he did just go out and say we're gonna beat the United States. Is that going to inspire our guys to play a better game?
I have no idea why any player before a game would want to come out and say we're going to beat that team, because all you're doing is giving, even more motivation. But,
Yep.
then again, some people would say you're in the World Cup. If you need more motivation, you really shouldn't be there in the first place.
Yeah.
It's a bold statement, but the fact is, we mentioned it before, how U.S. soccer is seen throughout the world. Slovenia would have looked at this group and said, well, England's going to be tough, but we will fancy our chances against Algeria and the U.S.
Right.
And, the U.S. are not at the level where teams are going to be afraid to play them. I think they will show respect, no matter what they're saying before this game. But, you've mentioned Slovenia have a lot of quality there, and they will go into this game confident. Do I think they're a good side? To qualify from European qualification, you have to be good.
Right.
It's a difficult process. Do I think the U.S. are a better team? I do. Having watched the U.S. play in the Confederations Cup last year and what they did against England, I think if they play that way, they will beat Slovenia. I do think if the US get a little bit bold and try to attack Slovenia, I think Slovenia will get some sort of result from this game.
Yeah, and it's kind of nervous Nelly time too, because this is when it all this is really the game of the tournament for the United States. So this is the one game they're going to have to pull it out. Still, this is a Slovenia team that did manage to beat Russia to get into this World Cup. So we know they're a decent team, and I think a lot of Americans are out there kind of saying, "Oh, who's Slovenia? What? That's a speck on a map to them," you know. But they need to understand that this is going to be a tough match.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. And the players you mentioned, Novakovic is a very good forward who can score goals, and he can link up with the midfield. I think Robert Corren is a player who dictates the tempo. He's not an overpowering midfielder. He's not someone that's going to, make those surging runs forward like a Steven Gerrard or Frank Lampard.
Right.
But he can dictate the pace very well, and he's a player who's played at a very good level in England over the last few years. But the US don't have to look at Slovenia as a team that they have to fear in the same way they would fear England.
Right.
But again, I keep saying it. I do think the US have been successful building themselves on a strong defensive unit, with Bradley and Clark being a little bit more defensive minded, allowing Dempsey to go forward and allowing Landon to go forward and join in with Josie and Robbie. And I think it should be the same thing again on Friday. You go in with the same mindset. We're not going to concede, and we'll get one or two chances, and once we take them, we'll get the victory.
I hope so. I hope you're right, Keith. And again, I want to thank you for joining us for this 20 minutes. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully we can have you back after this is all over and see how our predictions all panned out.
Well, I would love that. Thank you very much for having me, guys.
All right. Thanks, Keith, and take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.